Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our new episode, our new edition of 39 Down, our Mind Body podcast. I have a special guest. Of course, all my guests are special. So I have a special guest for you today. I know that you will enjoy the discussion today. Today, we're talking about positivity. So let's find out a little bit more about that with our guest, Spencer Jones. Hi, Spencer. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our new episode, our new edition of 39 Down, our Mind Body podcast. I have a special guest. Of course, all my guests are special. So I have a special guest for you today. I know that you will enjoy the discussion today. Today, we're talking about positivity. So let's find out a little bit more about that with our guest, Spencer Jones. Hi, Spencer.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on. It's such an honor to be here.
Oh no, it's my honor, my pleasure. I love hearing you talk, and so I can't wait to get into this discussion. But for those who don't know who you are, my viewers probably some of them have not heard about you, and so I'm going to read the bios, Spencer's bio, and then we'll get right into our conversation.
Perfect.
So Spencer Jones is igniting people's light so they can chase their passions, help others, and live their life to the max. Known as the Prince of Positivity, that's why he's here with us. He shares his positive energy and spreads joy around the world. He does this by sharing tips, tricks, and strategies to help live life to the max through his Daily Energize podcast, along with the Jonesin for Academy and various events. And also, as a side note, Spencer is a classically trained pianist and choir director who has published three books and has been published in multiple magazines and websites. So, thank you. Welcome, Prince of Positivity. Thank you for being with us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I said it's an honor, and I'm really excited to share some positivity, some energy with you and everyone listening, because it's such a vital part of our life. And as my bio says, as you read so eloquently, is that my goal in life is to ignite people's lives so they can live their lives to the max, whatever that looks like or means to them. I'm just excited to be here and hopefully share some love and energy with everyone.
Yes, and because I thought about you because getting to the end of the year, transitioning into the new year, and we have goals, and some people have resolutions and dreams and things that they want to do, and but it's easy to even get overwhelmed when we think about all those things, right? And so a little sprinkle of positivity for for us there at the end of the year. So that's why you came into mind for our last episode of 2022. And I just want you to, tell us a bit more about you. The bio is one thing, but, who is Spencer? How did you even become, the prince of positivity? Were you always the most cheerful, most positive person from a child? And
You would think with a name like Prince of Positivity that would be almost prerequisite that I was always a happy-go-lucky kid, and I was always more positive, probably more optimistic by nature, but I was definitely not the most positive person out there. And it's such a perfect timing that this episode's coming out at the end of the year because, and talk about resolutions and goals, because that's how I started my whole journey of personal growth and really developing into that Prince of Positivity. So you see, for years, for 9 years, I was a middle school and high school choir director, and I loved working with students, helping them sing and express themselves through music, and really building a beautiful community for them where they felt safe, heard, and can express themselves. Well, as I was teaching, and I can talk really. As I was learning to become a choir director, and throughout my childhood, I let life lead me wherever wanted to lead me. So, if good things happened in my life, I was happy, I was positive. If bad things happened, I was frustrated, angry, frustrated. And I just let my energy be controlled by whatever was happening in the world around me.
Oh,
I
interesting.
remember, right? I remember a specific instance when a person called me on the phone, and this was I was so excited, right? Like cell phones they've been out for a little while, and then you could see who's calling you on my old flip phone. And I remember seeing their name, and I was feeling happy. I was in a good mood. I saw their name come up, and instantly angry, pissed off, frustrated, and it ruined my day, or most of my day, until my girlfriend, now wife, uh, helped me turn that around. But it was hard. It was this journey. And I didn't realize that I could take control of my energy. I didn't realize that I was giving it away and letting the world play with it. This was normal, right? Drink caffeine, burn the candle at both ends, keep working, and hope that things work out. Well, it wasn't. Well, let me back up one more step. So over this journey of going to college and learning to become a music director, and then getting my teaching job, I started to gain weight. And I ended up gaining 40 pounds, which for me, I felt heavy. I felt uncomfortable. I didn't like the person I saw in the mirror physically or mentally, for that matter. But the physical part was the one that I'm like, this needs to change. So it was December 26th of 2013. I decided, all right, I need to do something. I need to lose weight and go after my health once and for all. So as I tried before, and it was kind of yo-yo, I lost 30 pounds and I lost 20 pounds, gained some back, and it was back and forth. And anyway, so I'm 40 pounds heavier at this point. I'm like, this needs to change. So I hooked up with my brother-in-law, who is into fitness and health. And we decided, let's do some working out. And so we started with P90X, that crazy at-home fitness program. I lost 20 pounds doing that. He helped me stay accountable. And then from there, it kept going. And I started doing these other at-home workout programs. I'll go to a gym and work out, but I have my gym at my house now. We worked over the years to build up our home gym. I even built a ninja course in my backyard to help me lose weight and just to be healthy physically. And that led me to do a whole bunch of different things. Like I've done, I haven't done a full marathon. I have zero interest in running that long, but I've done many half marathons, 5Ks, 10Ks, but I've also did a half Ironman, so like almost I completed in like 5 hours, 45 or 50 minutes. It was 5 hours, 50 minutes. I completed it. And so, doing something for 6 hours it takes a lot of discipline, but in any case, on this journey, I'm telling a really long story, I apologize, but on this journey of losing weight, I discovered, there's this thing called personal growth. Well, I had professional growth in the music field, and I didn't enjoy that at all. It wasn't helpful. It seemed like a waste of time because there was all the stuff that they were teaching. I could only apply maybe 5% of that into what I was doing. So it seemed like a waste. Well, why would I want to do personal growth? But I gave it, a lot of friends tell me to try it. I decided to give it a fair shake, and I read this book called Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. Awesome book. And I started taking action on it, and I realized, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And I kept taking action, and that led me down this whole personal growth journey where I learned about mindset. I learned about, this positivity. You can control what you give yourself and feed yourself as far as positive and negatives go, and your energy levels. And that led me to not just do personal development, reading books, but attending events, retreats, connecting with coaches and groups and organizations, and really led me. So then I fell in love with positivity, mindset, and energy. And that led us to where we're at today, which is where we help ignite people's energy and really help them become masters of their energy sovereignty. Because, like me, I was giving away my energy left and right, not realizing I was. And now I realize it's a choice. We can take control. And so I'm excited to help people regain that control so they can be positive, they can have that abundance in their life, and they can be energized and be able to live their lives to the max. So, whole long story of how I got going, but it
Oh
started with weight loss
no.
and it led me into the whole mindset, which has led me into energy and to really help people. We've been doing this for years now, and it's been an absolute blessing to impact people's lives around the world.
Yeah, but our stories has a lot of twists and turns. But something that you said was that two things when you talked about thinking about losing weight. A lot of time we put things in boxes or categories. I lose weight. Why do I need personal development? Why do I need to heal emotionally? Why do I just need to work out. I just need to go to the gym, and of course eat some veggies and cut the
Right.
sugar, things like that, right? And but we don't realize that there is more to it, right? There's a reason. I read, I don't remember what book, but talking about the some of the weight is kind of like a cushion and a protection, that is that is there because we have these things that we need to heal, but our body is trying to protect us in a way. So yes, we store fat for different reasons, and that is one of the reasons. And so can we help our body, right? If we can help our mind, like you said, personal development, then we might be able to help our body. And the second thing that you said that I could relate so much was the being, going with the waves and with the wind, especially when you watch the news a lot, for example, or things like that. It's like everything, like this happened, and I'm stressed out, I'm scared, and now I'm sad, and now I'm happy, and this is exciting, and this is happening, and you know everything, it just seems like we can just go from one emotion to another, but not from our free will. It's just kind of led by whatever events, whatever is going on around us, whatever is said to us, and so it could be a phone call, it can be a friend, it could be a job, anything, and we just, like you said, we just give away control of our energy. So how in that process, what led you to understand, that key, the positivity?
Great question. Well, what for me it was, okay, I'm working on my mindset, and it started by, okay, how can I get better systems in place so I could be more efficient with my time and buy back some more of my time, and then realizing on that journey, okay, well, it's not just time with personal development and mastering that or it becoming the best or managing it the best I can. It's, well, what are you doing with that time? What are you thinking about? What are you focused on? Where's your energy going? And you brought up a great example with the news. 90% of news is negative. 90%
Over, yeah.
is negative. It's crazy. And what's
Mm.
crazy, if you look at statistics, I want to say it was, well, 90% of news is negative now, but in 1950, if I remember correctly, 90% was positive. And
Mm.
it's interesting how that switched because, well, negativity is catchy. It's interesting. We get drawn into that drama in
Yeah.
so many ways. And I mean, we see social media. People say, social media is all filled with drama or negativity. And it can be, but there's also the flip side to that, all that positivity. So for me on my journey, what happened is I realized, okay, well, I'm learning to manage my time. I'm learning that, okay, my energy matters. What am I focusing on? And well, okay, if I'm focused on the negatives or I'm focused on the hardships, well, what are the good things? What are the blessings in my life? And that really one of the cornerstones that I learned and that I teach is super basic, but it makes such a big difference is what are you grateful for? So
Mhm.
every day, I suggest everyone do this. If you're listening, every day, write down 3 things you are grateful for every morning. So you're starting off your day with some gratitudes. And you know, people do this for the first time or for the first couple times and they get into this routine of saying something along the lines of, oh, I have food, I have shelter, I have a house, and I have water, which is great. Those are amazing gratitudes. I'm not knocking them. but you also have so many more gratitudes. So one thing I challenge myself with, and I challenge my clients, is try not to repeat a single gratitude for an entire week. Don't repeat
Oh,
them.
that's
Like
good.
it's not that you're not grateful for it. Like I write down, I'm grateful for Katie, my wife. I write her down. It's not like tomorrow I'm not grateful for her, but I try to find different things. And it's cool. You can go down these different rabbit holes of like, okay, well, what am I grateful today? Well, I'm grateful I have my journal because I journal every day. I'm grateful I journal. Well, I'm grateful I know how to write. I'm grateful that I could see. I'm grateful for the people who made the paper that are and a pen or pencil. Like you go down these rabbit holes of like, oh my gosh, I have all these different things to be grateful for.
Mhm.
And that is one of the key things to help you reprogram your brain from always looking at the negative. Always feel,
Mhm.
you feel the urge to gossip, to compare, to judge other people, but also yourself, right? We are our own worst enemies. We're bullies to ourselves. That, well, let's show ourselves some compassion. Let's show other people compassion, some love. And we need to release and let go of that negativity, that anger we have, frustration, those traumas, those wounds we hold inside. We need
Mhm.
to let them go and replace them with love, with grace. And gratitude is one of those things that we can do to help fill that space. But as you said, right, we all have traumas or wounds and triggers that happen to us. And so on our journey, we realize, oh, these are the things that are triggering me. These are the things that are really frustrating me. Or all of a sudden, this someone said this one thing, or someone calls me, and now I'm angry, or now I'm sad. Well, now why is that? For me, we all have made mistakes in my past. I've made mistakes in my past that really brought me down to a suicide point, right? It really took me to my rock bottom. And from there, I had to pick myself back up and realize, oh, okay, why did those things get me there? Why did I make those choices to get to that point? Oh, it's because I have these wounds. It's because I have those self-limiting beliefs. And I had to work through that and realize, okay, where do they stem from? Are they really true? Well, how can we turn those around from something negative to something positive? And so for me, one of them is I always thought I needed to prove myself to
Mhm.
show the world that I was worthy, that I was enough. And it was a constant struggle. And I tried to, and I tried getting, better positions, making more money, or having these great events. So I got notoriety or any, those different types of things that use my talents. And sure, I did some good things for charity and all that, but it was for the wrong reason behind
Mhm.
it. And once I hit my rock bottom and I realized those things due to a therapist. So if you're feeling anything, friends are great, uh, uh, coaches are great, but see a therapist, see a trained professional. They're there to help you. It changed my life when I saw mine. And we realized, oh, I have these self-limiting beliefs that I need to prove myself. And so we looked at it like, okay, how can we turn this around? What's an affirmation we could use? And we kept at first we were thinking like, well, I don't need to prove, or I do not need to prove. I'm like, that's not bad, but it has a negative in there. Let's get
Right.
rid of that negative all the way around. And so I
Mhm.
thought about it for a week and meditated and prayed on it. And I'm like, it's I am enough.
Mhm.
Because if I'm enough, I don't need to prove. And so this is an affirmation I say to myself every day. It's an affirmation I say anytime I lead almost anytime I lead a meditation or I speak on stages. Somehow in there, I always fit that you are amazing, you are worthy, and you are enough just the way you are. Right? You don't need to do anything, change anything, or prove anything to anyone. You are enough. And so let me say that to you right now that
Mhm.
you are enough.
Mhm.
Right? No matter the mistakes you made, we've all made mistakes. Let's learn and grow from them. Let's take those lessons. Let's release that guilt, the shame that we feel, and step into the fact that we are enough, that we are worthy of our dreams, of our goals, just the way we are. Now we might need to learn and accomplish new things and learn new abilities or talents to be able to reach our goals. That's great, right? You are capable of doing that. But know that right here and now you are enough. You are worthy. And once I started to say those things to myself, it wasn't a change overnight. It took months. Heck, it took over a year for me to when it finally fully clicked and I fully stepped into the fact that, you know what? I am worthy. I am enough. And I still remember that moment when that happened. And it's like the light bulb went on inside me. And I felt warm. I felt fuzzy. I felt like I had this radiant light, this glow from my heart center out that no one could take away. No one could dim. Only I could do that.
Mhm.
And working on myself, on my energy, on my positivity, on my mindset, all of those things led me to that moment of feeling that way. And now from that point, going, other people are worthy to experience this. They have that light inside them, but they don't feel it. Their energy is being sucked away by all the energy vampires of the world, and we don't even realize it. Well, let's turn that around. Let's realize it. Let's grow that love and grace inside you, that energy, so you be masters of your energy sovereignty, and that you can have that positive and abundant mindset. So
Mhm.
it's been an incredible journey on my part to feel that, but now to share it with others and see people on their journey.
Right, right. Yeah, that it I think that's anytime we receive a gift, it's really never just for us, right? And so sharing it with others is key. It kind of helps to help fuel it, help it grow, and just sharing it's just a cycle that continues to feed you and feed others. Have you found that you were talking about your gratitude? Have you found that getting into this habit of writing, of thinking in gratitude, did you feel that it kind of decluttered your mind from all those negative thoughts, or was that a key element to where you could see things a little bit more clearly when you were in that, train of thought of gratitude or that mode of gratitude?
Great question. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I'm going to say no. It didn't necessarily declutter my thoughts.
Mm,
What did help declutter my thoughts when I was struggling, when I was beating myself up with my inner bully over the guilt, the shame, or stressors in my life, whatever that was journaling. That
mm,
truly helped me to declutter my mind. And it started off with my journaling was bullet points, and then it developed into a paragraph, 3 to 5 sentences, and then it became pages, and then it became on page. And so currently it's somewhere between a paragraph to a page is generally what I journal every day. There's no wrong way to journal is my whole point with that. But
mm,
that helped declutter my mind and help me gain clarity on the things that I was struggling with. So if I was feeling that emotion, going through those thoughts or those limiting beliefs, I was able to write them down and kind of flesh them out so I could understand them more and figure out what that root cause was. Gratitude, however, allowed me to go, oh, I'm struggling. Life sucks. Life's really hard. Oh no, I am blessed. I am incredibly lucky because I have these gratitudes in my heart. So gratitude didn't necessarily declutter my mind, but it gave me anchor points
mhm,
of beautiful things in my life, whether that's my wife, the home I live in, the cup of tea.
mhm,
I'm a huge coffee fan as well. So like, oh, that first sip of coffee. Some days are really hard and really suck, and you're just like, that first sip of coffee is so heavenly. And your gratitudes could be big, they could be small, they could be medium sized,
mhm,
but they gave me anchor points. I remember when I was in my, and I say this no such nonchalantly now, but it was really difficult at the time when I was in my lowest of lows and, suicidal and just really struggling. The gratitude for me that I was able to cling on to was that there's a point to this. There's a point to me going through this. I
mhm,
don't know exactly what that is yet, but I know there's a point to it. And I know that I can help other people because of this experience.
mhm,
How I'm going to help them, I don't know yet. I don't know what this lesson is yet, but I know that I'm going to learn, I'm going to grow from this, and we're going to be stronger. So let's be open to see what comes. And so that was one of the crutches. And then also the other gratitudes. Oh, I have a beautiful house. Oh, I have an amazing wife. Oh, I have shelter. I have food. I have water. I can write. I can see a therapist. All those different things gave me different uh, little jolts of energy, right? Little jolts of positivity to keep me going when I was struggling.
mhm. Talk about, as you mentioned, your therapist, and talk about the how. journaling, for example, such an exercise complements with seeing a therapist. Because sometimes we think, well, I'm doing the work on my own, I'm doing the work on myself, right?
Right.
And which is good. Like journaling, for example, reading different books that can help us. Um, but is why is the benefits of merging of having the two instead of one? And usually when you go to a therapist, you end up journaling or
Right.
doing different exercises. But sometimes we say, well, I can, you know, it's I can journal, I can read this, I can do this questionnaire, I can do, and is there a this additional benefit, from seeing somebody that can actually maybe guide us or just give us some different insight. What do you think about that?
So this is just my personal belief, but anytime you connect with a guide, a coach, a guide, a therapist, whether that's a therapist or a guide or a coach for your business or a life coach or whatever, it accelerates your journey.
Mhm.
It accelerates where you're going because you have someone who has either have been there before, have struggled through it, and have worked through it, and can let their arm go back and help pull you up and shine the light on what the next steps are. Or in a case of a therapist, they might have not gone through it before, but they know tools and strategies, just like coaches, tools and strategies that can help you. And they've learned, they've been taught how to what strategies work best for certain circumstances and have had experience with their clients before. So yeah, you could do it alone, right? You can journal, you can read books, you can listen to podcasts, and all those are great, and that they can help you on your journey. But there's something special when you see an expert, right? So in this case, we're talking about seeing a therapist or a counselor. So you see them, well, you share, and you got to find the one that resonates with you, that aligns with you, because you do need to open up. The people, from my experience, the people who don't open up, who just they keep their walls up, they keep their armor up, you might make some progress, but you're only doing a tiny dent. It's when you could fully drop your armor, when you could fully dissolve those walls, that you can make amazing progress with yourself, as journaling, listening to podcasts, doing that personal work, but especially with a therapist or
Mm.
counselor, because then they could see, oh, this is what you're struggling with, right? Because I dropped those walls and let go of that armor, we were able to discover that, oh, I felt like I needed to prove myself. And that comes from my parents, especially my mom, guilt tripping me all the time and making me feel like I needed to prove myself. Like, why didn't you just, well, you should be doing this and doing that. Nothing against my parents whatsoever. That's just how they raised me.
Mhm.
And great. But it limited me because I felt like I needed to prove, and I didn't realize that. And it wasn't until I dropped my armor
Right.
that with my therapist that we uncovered it. I shared it, and he then raised my awareness to it. And then
Hmm.
we talked about strategies of how to overcome it. And now, doing what you suggested, we combine some of the practices I've already have been doing, excuse me, so journaling and affirmations, to help overcome that. So for me, some of my tasks that my therapist gave me was to continue journaling, and journaling about my thoughts, the ideas I was having, the limiting beliefs I had, without judgment, just write them down. And so it it helped in two ways. First of all, he was able to shine a light and be able to repeat back to me what he heard me say in a way that made sense to me, and in a way that you can almost label it if you wanted to label it. But then also to guide me, and, oh, well, here, journal about that. And then that allowed me to go deeper and
Hmm.
explore that myself, because he doesn't have the answers, or she, whoever your therapist or counselor is, they don't have the answers to give you directly. That's only inside you, but they can help guide you to that. So when you get to combine the two, well, now you have a person who can shine the light on the next couple steps, a person who can offer you feedback and thoughts and questions to dig deeper. And then you combine that with journaling, with meditation, with prayer, with whatever you choose to do. Well, now you're able to explore it yourself and gain deeper to unlock and uncover that answer within you. So I both are critical in my opinion if you really want to grow. And there's times to see a therapist, there's times that you don't need to, and that's all good. But combining the two really makes all the difference.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's part of the journey. Something I noticed also is that when we journal or whatever, we still stay on from we still express things and things through from our perspective, and having somebody else say, well, you know, what else, or could it be this, or have you ever thought about that? Just like showing us maybe a different angle or a different way to think about things is helpful also. So let's talk about positivity. um, some people would say, well, if you positive and you put everything on a positive light, then it's not so realistic,
Mm,
and maybe you are lying to yourself or different things like that, right? You can't be on high 10 positive all the time because
right.
life is not, so what do you have to, what is the value of positivity, and what is there a difference between a reality, positivity, or realism and positivity, idealism?
I love it.
Those kind of things.
I love it. It is a battle that a lot of people go through, right? One of the terms that gets thrown out there a lot is toxic positivity, that
Mm-hmm.
everything
Yeah,
is sunshine, rainbows, and
right,
unicorns, right? Everything's perfect, everything's great. There's no
right.
bad in the world. There's nothing horrible. It's all good. It's all beautiful. And you know what? That's a bunch of phooey. There's a swearing here, but that's a bunch of BS. Like, let's be
Mm-hmm.
honest here, right? I'm the prince of positivity, but I know that people struggle in the world because I've
Mm-hmm.
struggled in the world. I
Mm-hmm.
know that there's hardships, and I personally feel that toxic positive, well, it's toxic. It's not healthy
Right.
to just be constantly positive in the sense that you're turning a blind eye to the negative,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're trying to sweep it under the rug. You're trying to just, oh, no, I don't see it. I don't see that negativity,
Right, right. No, 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 don't tell me about
right?
it.
Like, nope, I'm the monkeys with my eyes covered,
Mm-hmm.
ears covered, mouth, like, no, that's that's not, well, real, but that's not helpful. That's not going
Mm-hmm.
to help you feel happy, to feel energized, because you're putting up armor, right? You're putting up those shields saying, nope, there's no negativity here. Instead, I mean, you can call it realism if you want, but I try to look more the half cup full, right? The more optimistic view of it, going, you know what? I personally believe that there's a positive in every single situation in the world,
Mm-hmm.
every single situation. Now, that positive might be small, it might not seem huge and grandeur, but
Mm-hmm.
it's there. Every situation, even if you can't see it, right? As you pointed out perfectly, sometimes your therapist or another person can point out something you didn't see or look at it in a different light. So maybe you can't see the positive, but someone else can. And so for me, the way I like to look at life is there's a positive in everything. I might not always see it, but I'm going to search for it. I'm going to look for that positive.
Mm-hmm.
But in that process, I'm not saying that there's not negativity, that there's not hardships, there's not struggles out there, right? Those things exist.
Mm-hmm.
So let's be aware of that. Let's acknowledge it
Mm-hmm.
for what happens, right? If negativity comes my way, if struggles or obstacles come my way, or any negativity you want to think of comes your way, I acknowledge the fact that, okay, heck, this sucks, this is here. All right, how can I learn and grow from it? What are the lessons I could take away, and let me keep those and release the things that are not serving me, like the guilt, the shame, the bad feelings, inner bully, beating myself up. Easier said than done, right? Like, I totally get it. What I'm saying is easier said than done, but that's how I live my life, and that's how I try to teach people is uh, uh, a visualization I like to do, especially when I meditate, is I imagine being a scientist and you have that struggle, that obstacle, that problem in front of you. And as a scientist, you're not emotionally connected to it. You're
Mm-hmm.
disconnected. And then you could dissect it. You can explore, well, what about this? And if this happened? And then as soon as you start feeling emotionally connected, you take a step back and you breathe, and then you come back when you feel like you can, and you keep dissecting. And you're dissecting, looking for A, the positive, and B, what's the lesson? What are the takeaways here? Maybe the takeaway is, oh, I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't do this next time, right? I learned that that was not the best choice. Or maybe I should do this, or that is an option to say next time, or whatever. I try not to say shoulds, should'ves or could'ves, but in that sense, it kind of works. So I try to learn what's that lesson that I could take away from that moment. And now I keep that lesson with me. I keep those positives with me. And I imagine like bringing them along with me on my body and my backpack or in my heart, whatever you want to visualize. And then I release the rest of it, the negativity, the shame,
Mhm.
sorrow, guilt, whatever. And I do a bunch of different visualizations because I do this usually as a meditate. So like I think of it like pushing it to my skin and the rain washing it away, or holding my hand and the wind blowing it away, or me setting it down and walking away from it, or a whole bunch of different things.
Mhm.
And the goal of it is, what's the lesson? What's the positive that I can learn from this? So I'm not ignoring that there's bad things in the world, that there's not, that I'm struggling. I acknowledge that. Not everything's sunshine and rainbows,
Mhm.
but I know I could learn from that struggle, that obstacle, that problem. I'm going to take that with me so I can become wiser on this journey of life.
Mhm.
And then I do my best to release that weight, that negativity that was weighing me down. And sometimes it comes back, right? Like as I mentioned before, I've made mistakes in my life, and the guilt, the shame comes back to haunt me at times. And at that point, I go, I've worked through this. I let you go again. And I redo that through meditation. Sometimes I redissect it. Maybe there's a new lesson in there that I can uncover now or that I didn't realize. And then I let it go again. And it's this process of learning and growing and embracing, sometimes the hardships, but in the end, I embrace the lessons and growth that help me be who I am, to shine my light brighter. And then in that regard, help other people shine their lights brighter.
Right. Yeah, I think that's such a good, having that neutral, the neutral stand, removing the our emotion, and being able to just observe the situation, observe the thought, observe just for what it is. Like you said, I really like that. He's a the scientist, like really looking at all the different aspects of it, and cutting this part and testing that one, and because it's important. Like now you're looking at what thoughts did I have, well, let's test it. What emotion did I have, let me test it, you know and see, does it stand,
Right?
is it really, is it what, not, I wouldn't say valid, but is it, because
Is it,
at the moment it was valid, but
is it
does
true?
it, right, is it
Right?
true, yeah, is it true, and do I, is it something that I need to carry with me, or is it like you said, we just trash that, we tested it, we used it, it's gone, it's, I really like that, really looking at at the thoughts or the situations and analyzing them, removing that emotional, initial emotional reaction. um
It's like you're looking at it from a third person's perspective.
uh,
Like it's not you dealing with that problem. You're a friend or a person standing outside looking in.
mhm.
Okay. Like think about friends that you have had that are struggling through something. Well, as an outsider, you see some of the
Uh,
reasons why and where it stems from. It's not all of it, but some of it. And so you do that to yourself.
mm,
And you're exactly right. You discover, oh, where does this where does this come from? What's going on? Let's test this. Is this true?
mm,
It's not saying is it valid, because if you're feeling it, your experience, it is valid.
right.
But is it true? Are
Mm,
those limiting beliefs or those thoughts you have, are they true?
mm,
And then you can also dig in and say, okay, where does this come from? Where does this stem from? Not to get all psychiatrists to sit on the couch like, oh, where does this come from your past? But so many of our things do, that we
mm,
realize, oh, that's that root cause, right? Oh, my mom guilt tripping me made me feel eventually that I always needed to prove myself, which then um, bled into all areas of my life. And so, okay, I can uncover this one. Oh, but now I see it in this area. Oh, now I see it in this area. And I follow those branches back to that trunk of going, oh, this is where it stems from.
mm,
Well, now let's pull another analogy I like is, let's pull that weed, right?
mm,
I
mm,
want a beautiful garden in my backyard, but my garden was full of weeds and there was very few flowers in there. So, well, I had to find, what are those limiting beliefs, those causes, those weeds in my life. And just like weeds, right? If you weed whack them and plow them down or mow them down, they're going to come back.
Come
right?
back.
You just took care of just the surface.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's discover the root reason why. Get rid of the roots, pull that. So then you can plant beautiful flowers with the gratitudes, with the positive affirmations, with learning the different strategies to become your master of energy sovereignty, to have that positive, abundant mindset. Well, then you get to grow this beautiful garden of gorgeous flowers. And weeds might pop up here or there, but then you could have the tools and strategies to work and pull them
Mm-hmm.
when they happen.
Yeah, and I found that when things do pop up, then uh, not just dismissing, but saying, okay, if it's coming back, is there something else?
Yep.
Right? I've learned some about it. I thought I healed it, but clearly not fully, or clearly there's something else in there that I probably need to learn. And looking at it again. And not just dismissing and saying, oh, I already dealt with that, so I don't want to talk about it anymore, or that was 20 years ago and I don't want to, that's it, I'm done.
Right.
If it's coming back, and from what you're saying as well, if it's coming back, let's say, okay, let me acknowledge it, let me look at it and see if there's something else, something new, or maybe just, really I didn't fully resolve, heal, make peace with it, to the point where I can have it as a having learned a lesson, and then just being part of my history, but not part of my my
Right.
ongoing, uh, life story, if I can say that. Um,
Well, the way I think about it, and I do both, if I'm going to be perfectly honest.
uh
There's points when I just go, you know what, I've healed this, I've let this, or maybe I haven't fully healed it, but I'm going to let it go again. I'm good. Yeah, I've dug through it, I've dissected it, I've learned the lesson. I'm going to let it go.
mhm,
There's points that I do that, but
mhm,
and then there are points where I dissect it again and look, where are those lessons? Maybe I didn't learn everything. There's something else here, and sometimes I realize, oh, there was something new, and sometimes there isn't, and then I let it go. And I love what you said, that, well, obviously I didn't fully heal from this. Well, in that moment, you healed what you needed to, and then okay, it came back, right? You got re-triggered. Okay,
mhm,
interesting. Why did we get re-triggered by that? Okay, well, maybe you didn't fully heal on it. Okay, so it came back. Great. Let's work at letting it go again, right? So it's
mhm,
always a process of letting go so that
mhm,
we can grow, always. But sometimes for me, I do dissect it and learn. Sometimes I go, I'm just gonna let it go because I feel like I've learned everything. And then, especially if it comes back a second, third time, then okay, let's keep learning and growing and dissecting it as we go along. But and there's things, big mistakes I've made that have come back. God, it's been years. And they keep coming back. And the good part is they came back very often at
mhm,
first, right? Like multiple times a day, to
mhm,
then working through it when it was okay. I was really happy when it was only like once a day. Oh my God, what a huge win. And then, oh my gosh, I went a few days without beating myself up over that. Oh,
mhm,
now it's been a week. Now it's been a month, and we're talking over years. And now it's like, okay, for where I'm at, you know, every couple months I get that feeling where I start beating myself up again. And I go, okay, well, let's see. Is there anything new to learn? Okay, well, let's see if I need to learn it, or do I let it go? And
mhm.
uh, I let it go no matter what. Depends if I
Right,
dissect it or not.
but do
But
you need to do some work or just and I think that's when that is it true. I love that question because it helped me once I started applying that, is it true,
right,
and so when you get those feelings coming back, then um again, is it true? And if I can have a category, no to it, for example, then I know, okay, let's heal it. Now if I'm thinking, well, probably back then, and then
right,
maybe we need to do some work.
right,
And so that's the way that I have used that, as a gauge. I feel like, I've dealt with that, and I've learned things, and I know that it doesn't reflect this or that about me and what have you, but then the story kind of comes back and triggers, and then so now it's like, okay, well, how do I feel about it? And then is it true? And I usually know, no, it's not. So,
one
moving right along, in that sense. Yeah.
one thing that I tell myself that has helped me on my journey a lot as I've been going through the highs and lows, right? We go through summits and valleys in our life, is it is a journey, right?
Mhm.
We're human.
Yeah.
Humans make mistakes, and let's learn and grow from this. So one thing that I think of is, along with the whole journey thing, we, and my belief is, we are spiritual beings, these
Mm-hmm.
energy beings having this human experience.
Mm-hmm.
Well, part of this human experience, as much as it sucks, are those hardships, are those problems, those
Mm-hmm.
struggles that we go through. But it's because of those struggles that we learn, that we grow, that we
Mm-hmm.
become
They
wiser.
are teachers. Yeah.
Right, and because of those struggles, we know what joy is. We know what
Mm-hmm.
positivity, what love is, and we get to experience those because of those hardships. Think about it. If you didn't know what happiness was, sadness wouldn't feel all that sad, or the way we associate it, because we
Right,
know
that's
what
true.
happy is, or we
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't know what happiness is if we didn't experience sadness,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we need both. And okay, let's add an extra philosophical note to this. One of my beliefs is, everything's a vibration, right? And my thought, every single thing's a vibration, and everything's on the vibrational level of love. I mean, everything is love as a vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the emotion love, positivity, grace, they're high vibrational, right? They're vibrating at a very high level. And negativity, shame, guilt, they're vibrating at a very low level. It's still love, but it's at a very low level. Again, on screen, it's a very low level vibration of love. So it's just at two different sides of that vibrational level. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're at that low vibrational of guilt, shame, negativity, how can we release that and raise that vibration
Mm-hmm.
of love? And that usually comes from working on your self love, loving you for you, knowing you're enough, knowing you're worthy, doing that work of working through that shame, the guilt that we feel, releasing the weight that we have from that negativity in our life, and embracing that love, knowing that we are worthy of love, of beauty, and pouring into ourselves by being and listening to amazing podcasts like this one and others, and pouring into yourself with the right group of people around you, the people who are pouring life and love into supporting you, not backstabbing, not talking behind your back, not judging you or others or themselves. They're there to give you true love and support.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. And when you find your community, hold them tight.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, I mean, I'm not trying to self promote, but like, that's why we created our group, is because we wanted people like that around. I selfishly wanted people like that around me, and I want to be around them so that we can support one another. And it's amazing when you have that, because that just helps you stay at that high vibrational level. It's not that you don't go by low vibrational at times, right? Stuff happens, stuff
Mm-hmm.
knocks you down, but you have the people and you have the tools, the strategies to come back to that high vibrational state.
Mm, yeah, I like that because we usually think about, you have love on one side, and then you have, you know the lower
The
vibration,
hate, the anger,
hate, and
frustration,
yeah,
sadness.
as dissociated from love. But as you're presenting it, it's kind of like this continuum where you have, more love, less love, if we can say, um, where, so if you're vibrating, if your emotions, or are lower energy, it's not that you're no longer within this love life, because really, when you think about it, love sustains life, right? So
Right.
if you're still alive, right, but you're on a lower end of the continuum, if we can say that, and so trying to going back to the stronger, having more love and less toxicity, more love. So that's interesting. I hadn't heard it like that. I always kind of think of them as separate uh, vibration, separate emotion, and and it's interesting because all of those things, really, we don't realize how they radiate and resonate through our mind and through our bodies, right?
Huge.
It is so important to see, being more aware of our being more aware of what our emotions, what we feel, how it's affecting us. I tell our kids all the time, when they get upset, especially homework or things like that, like, I don't want to do anymore, or and one is done, and how come I have to still do my homework, and things like that.
Yep.
We all have gone through that, but and so, but or explaining something to them and trying to help them in the homework, but they are so upset and they're just like this or this, and I tell them, what are you are blocking, you're blocking your vibration, you're blocking your learning, you're blocking your mind by feeling being so tense, and a lot of time with our energies, well, we're so tense, because if you're angry, you're not all relaxed, you're angry, if you have shame and you kind of, like this, and all of those different physical manifestation of how we feel. And so and I'm saying that because some people will say, well, we don't do energy or vibration, and to make it sense to you, uh, look at how your thought or your feeling is affecting you in your body, is affecting you in your day to day, and that is the key. And yes, when we look into how is that happening, we're going, inevitably energy and vibration, those things are part of who we are. When you analyze a cell, our cells vibrate. If you do a leaf, it vibrates. If everything, because that's how things are, we really came to life, and that's how they're combined together through this vibration and sharing of energy. But when, even if that sounds abstract, think about and being more aware about just how you think and what you're thinking, how it's affecting your body, your breathing, even, for
Mhm.
example, and see, okay, if I am so tense, if this thought, or if this memory, is changing my being in the moment as I'm thinking about it, well, maybe I need to work on it, and like you're saying, working on it, working through it, so that I can get into this positive, you know, mindset and positive aspect, that I can get from that experience. Yeah, yeah.
I love that. And one of the first steps of, well, the first step in anything, in my opinion, is awareness. You need to have
Yeah,
awareness of what's going on. If you don't, can't, if you don't, let me say, how do I say this? If you're not aware, then you can't change anything because you're not aware of it and you don't know that it needs to be changed or
yeah.
adjusted or celebrated or whatever. But
Hmm.
you need awareness first. So I love that challenge, and I'm going to double down on that challenge to everyone and challenge everybody listening to be aware of the way you feel.
Hmm.
What are the thoughts? How are you feeling physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all of that? And not, don't judge it, right? If you're
Hmm.
angry,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with being angry, well, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone else. It's part of this human journey. It's not,
Hmm.
there's nothing wrong with feeling sad, right? It's not
Hmm.
that everything needs to be happy and go lucky and positive. Okay, well, we can experience those emotions, but let me experience them, and then I'm gonna put them on the shelf again, or and let them stay there till I'm ready to experience that again. And but just be aware. Oh, I almost went down another rabbit hole, but just be aware of your your vibration. How do you feel?
Hmm.
If this whole idea of vibrations, okay, like, oh my gosh, Spencer, this is like really abstract. I don't get it. Let me say it like this.
Hmm.
I imagine some point in your life you have been around someone, a friend, a parent, a teacher, someone in your life who, a coworker, when they're angry or frustrated, I
Yeah.
bet you notice all of a sudden you start to get a little more tense, a little more
Mhm.
frustrated, a little bit more on edge. If someone's sad, you feel that energy.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's their vibration coming
Mhm.
off on you. Now, you and your energy affects other people as well,
Mhm.
right? If you're positive, if you're lucky, right? You hear people say, oh, that person really lights up a room. Well,
Mhm.
that's their energy. It lights up the
Right.
room. You could do that to other people, to your kids, your spouse, your family, your friends, your coworkers. But let's not even worry about all that at the moment. Let's think about you. right? You're
Mhm.
in closer proximity too. So what are the thoughts you are thinking? All that's vibrational energy. What's the food you're putting in your body? Is
Mhm.
it healthy, nutritious food? Don't get me wrong. I love pizza and ice cream too, and I enjoy it, but I also try to eat healthy. Oh, I'm moving my body. I'm exercising, right?
Mhm.
We have these pillars that help us vibrate at our highest level at all times. And sometimes that vibration might not always be the highest of highs. It might be low because we're going through some emotions, some thoughts, some feelings. Okay,
Mhm.
right? Well, we know we that vibration's there and we can raise it and do things to help us when we need to so that we're vibrating as high as we possibly can.
Mhm. Well, we're already getting to the,
Woo.
the top of the hour. I would say last question, which might be a little bit of a loaded question, but um, I just want to end with this. How can positivity change your life?
That is a loaded question. How can positivity
In
change
5 minutes.
in 5 minutes? All right. Okay, how can positivity change your life?
Mm,
If you Okay, how about this? If you are sick and tired of feeling exhausted,
mm,
frustrated, sad, angry, and not in control of your emotions, if the things, random things in life, a person cuts you off in traffic and you get
mm,
angry and that ruins your whole day, or you're stuck feeling sad and depressed all the time. Now, I'm not going to go down the whole medical rabbit hole there. See a therapist, see the person you need to help you with that, right? It is a chemical thing as well. But if you, to get back on track, if you're struggling
mm,
to enjoy life, whether it's because you're negative a lot, you're frustrated, you're sad, and you would like to have more joy in your life. Well, that's what finding more positivity and looking for the positives can do. Creating a positive and abundant mindset, doing some of the strategies we talked about here, writing down your gratitudes every single day. It sounds super basic, but that is reprogramming your brain
mhm,
to look for the positives. Because what happens is we're so focused with negativity, we're fed this negative crap all the time from news, from the people we surround ourselves with, social media, which we surround ourselves with, to, well, let's turn it around. Let's reprogram our brain to
mhm,
fire on a positive pathway as opposed to a negative pathway. And it has been done, it's been proven. One of the ways, there's lots of ways to do it, and there's some that expedite. One of the ways is to tell yourself, well, what am I grateful for? Let's start looking for the positives in these situations. Start looking at life differently, changing my story from one of
mhm,
struggle and negativity to one of positivity, of growth. And you can reprogram your brain physically to look for those positives. So if you are ready to live a life where you feel energized, where you feel excited for the day, where you are looking forward to life and joy is filled your heart, then start looking for the positives. Start finding the joy in your life, tracking your gratitudes, writing them down, and reprogramming your brain in that way so that you can take control of your energy. I guess so. How can it change your life? Well, it could take you from, oh, that was a really long answer. How can it change your life? Let's see. It could take you from feeling, from not being in control of your life or your emotions, your energy, to being in control of
mhm.
your emotions and energy. And there's, we already talked about some strategies to do that. But if you're ready to be in control, to be the master of your energy sovereignty, positivity is one of the key ways to help you do that.
Right, right. Yeah, it just gets you to unlock and see things also that you probably think that you're not worthy of or can't not able to do or not enough to do or things like that. Just getting into this change, getting into the like the gratitude and thinking differently about things. I love it. I love it. Well, please tell us, Spencer. That was awesome. For those who have, if you have, I didn't even get to say that, but if you have questions, comments for Spencer, you I know we're doing a rebroadcast here, but if you have questions, please put in the comments. We will be monitoring our comments and make sure that your the questions are answered. Spencer, can you tell us how we can get in touch with you if anybody wants to get into your program or try out your ninja your ninja course in your backyard? How can we find you?
Well, the thank you for asking. Thank you for having me on. This has been so much fun. The so a couple ways. One way, if you want to check out our academy, our personal growth academy, it's called the Jonesin for Academy. That's JONESINFOR, like you're Jonesin for something at academy.com. We use a free membership there that you can learn and grow and work on your personal growth there. But also, when you join, then you can see some of the retreats that we do. Plan the Ninja course. We have a meditation retreat and other ones that we are creating and putting on throughout the year. So you can come check that out. And you can message me anytime. You can email me from that website. You can hit me up on social media. Like, I would love it, love it, love it if you could message me and Delan. Sorry, woo,
That's okay.
Delian. Almost had it. Oh,
Too
I
close.
questioned myself and I stopped. So I apologize. Delian, oh my gosh. Delian, message us and tell us what was your biggest takeaway from this conversation. And
Mhm.
I would just love to have a conversation. I'm not going to pressure you to sell or sell or you anything or buy. Like, I just want to hear what's one of your takeaways and let's have a conversation. I would love to hear that. So you can find me on social media. Just look up Spencer Jones. You'll find me doing a yoga pose or something cool. You can also check out Jonesin4 on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok and message me there if you want.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Spencer, Prince of Positivity. Thank you for being with us, for sharing with us. That was a wonderful. I just feel just more energized after
Yay!
talking to you.
Thank you. Thank
um, and so thank you for being with us. Thank you for being on 39 Down, our Mind Body podcast. If you guys have not subscribed yet, please do so. And until next time, live well and love. See you guys.
Thank you.